So my proposition is that marital rape should be criminalized in India. Further, taking on the contentions that would arise further in this discussion is that the opposition may say that marital rape will not be efficient in India and it will be misused. So at this point, I'd like to introduce some statistics. That is, a marital rape law can be misused, but even the conviction rate in rape cases is also 26.1%. It is a little old data. It is 1 or 2 year old, but the conviction rate in rape is also 26.1. And the dowry law that is much criticized for its misuse is also 16% conviction rate. So it is not like that a law. If there is a law, there will be a misuse of law, but it cannot be said that there should not be a law. So the second point that will be introduced is that India is a traditional society and we have our own culture and ethos. But sir, at the same point of time, Sati Pratha and child marriage were also abolished. And at that time, it would be seen like that it is a culture. We should not say no and something like that. But it changed and it is for the progress of the society. As a person or as a member or a citizen of this country, I'd like to say that we should take a progressive approach, not a regressive approach of accepting cultures that are not right. So, sir, at this point, there is also a contention: is there a need for the law? Because there are other laws of domestic violence and several sections under IPC that protects women and they can safeguard them. So, sir, when there is a violation of right, there is a need for law. The government has itself recognized the problem of marital rape as the government in the case Delhi High Court of Delhi case, it itself has said that yes, there is a problem of marital rape, but it should be cleared from social and social uh, platforms. Like they should women should be made aware that this is not right and man should be made aware but this is not right, sir. But in my opinion, it is a principle that the marital rape immunity cannot be justified. What is wrong and it is a principle. So we need to take care of the principle and make laws. So sir, there will be a contention that there will be implementation issues. So the constitution, which is the supreme authority of India, is also derived from all the other constitutions in the world, and it is a great mix taking the context of India because it caters to all the need of India, like every specific things that is to be modified according to India. So likewise, the marital rape provisions will also be taken from all around the world and molded in such a way that is feasible for India. So if there is a chance, or I'll say there is an opportunity for India to see progressively and implement this law so that it will help in women empowerment, uh, which is right to do.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. I'll be speaking for the proposition that is marital rape should be criminalized in India. First of all, what is marital rape? As Arpit said, I would like to continue. Marital rape is a carnal copulation with one spouse without the spouse's consent. The unwilling sexual contact, this unwilling sexual contact has been criminalized in most of the countries, but India is among those 36 countries where marital rape is still not a crime. I would like to continue, sir. In the Constitution of India, I would like to quote an article from our Indian Constitution, Article 21. Article 21 says, uh, per- Article 21 describes protection of life and personal liberty. So I would like to say that in marital rape cases, wife's personal liberty and protection of life is endangered. How? Let me explain. When a husband forces his wife in sexual intercourse, this affects physical as well as mental health of the wife and undermines her ability to live with dignity. To live with dignity to live with dignity, I mean that though she is a wife, she will be able to live with dignity, but that mental agony which she suffers, that unwilling contact, sexual contact, that comes under protection of life, because it may if she's not willing to that act, she might have some issues, some health issues, so it will endanger her life. This unwilling contact will endanger her life, so article 21 might get violated if a wife is forced for sexual intercourse. And I would like to say section 375 of Indian Penal Code, exception 2. Exception 2 says that exceptions 2 says that it considers the forced sex in marriages as a crime only when wife is below 15. When wife is below the age of 15, it considers sexual contact between husband and wife as a rape. But why not above 15? I mean, why not 16, 17, 18? The girl which gets married at very tender age, at the age of 18 to 19, why come they get this privilege? So, sir, one question also pops up that in India, these things bring us to a question if marriage in India is a contract for legal sex. This question. So, where a man doesn't need to ask for permission and is free to impose himself on his wife. So, why it has been like to getting married? It gives us some sort of certificate to get involved in these copulations. So it also brings up this question that in India is marriage is a legal contract, some sort of legal contract for sex. I mean, this question also pops in our mind when we talk about marital rape, this issue. And in such cases, the wife, she never raises her voice. Why? Because she worries about her family's reputation. She worries about her children's future, what she will do if she will be divorced by his husband, where will she go? And the loss and the major thing is that mental rape is not an offense in India. So she might think that what will be the point of me raising this question? I mean, it won't help me in getting justice because marital rape is not an offense anyways in India. So why should I raise my voice? Where should I go? From where should I seek help? These sort of question must might go in the wife's mind. That's some of my points. And I would like to quote this. There is one doctor, Anuja Shah. She's a therapist. She gives online sessions. So there she said that I once got a very disturbing case where the woman was so traumatized that the child born out of wedlock reminded her of the brutality of her bedroom. These sort of statements she gets received from some of her patients. And this is one fine example, sir. This is just one example where we are discussing this one example. There are n number of cases. There must be n number of cases where wives are subjected to such brutality, such forceful sexual intercourse, and where they are not able to even raise their voice just because there is no use. There is no use, basically. And so these there arises one question I would like to point out, that if it will get criminalized, then people will misuse it. How? Like wife may impose false charges on husband to fulfill her personal motives. These questions may get arise from opposition, that if we will if we will criminalizes the marital rape, then wife will misuse it by implicating false charges on husband. But sir, I would like to point out some steps that we can have a solution for this problem. Like state government can restrict the police officers not to arrest automatically when any case is registered. They must do a thorough investigation and then they should arrest. It's not like that wife has filed the case and then if it gets criminalized. I'm talking about the scenario in future. If it will get criminalized, the matter will get criminalized, then how we are going to deal with this issue, the false implication issues. So here, like state government can instruct the police to not arrest automatically. They must do some thorough investigation. And next, the magistrate, while authorizing the detention of the accused, shall examine the report furnished by the police officer, and only after being satisfied should authorize further detention. Magistrate should also like do thorough investigation at his duty. And if the police officer fails to comply with the directions that are provided, then departmental inquiry should be initiated against the police officer. And in same way, when magistrate go through some of the glitches at his course of duty, then particular appropriate high court with its jurisdiction must get involved in the cases. So in these ways, we can like solve the things and like curb down the issues. That was my propositions for the topic. Thank you, sir.
Yes, I have noted down some of the points. In India, marriage is considered to be valid only after both the spouses are consummated, and therefore it is the primary condition for marriage. And also that the marriage only implies that there is a consent between both the spouses to have sexual intercourse with each other. So even in the marriage laws, it is the definition of a marriage only. So it implies the consent that the spouses give to the other partner at the time of marriage. So I don't think that having sexual intercourse after marriage implies that there is no consent, as the marriage only starts with the consent of both the partners. And secondly, um criminalizing the marital rape would do more harm than good to all the society, as there are already cases in the courts which are false under the which were filed for domestic violence. So I think in India there is more misuse of the laws than using in their favor. So also there are many laws which are provided to women for their protection in the marriage. There is section 376B, where a spouse cannot have sexual intercourse with his estranged wife, and there is also a punishment prescribed, that is 7 years of imprisonment under IPC. There is also some other relevant laws regarding the same. Even in section 377, a person is not permitted to have unnatural sex with his wife. It is also punishable under law. And in Section 493, if a person tries to deceitfully have sexual intercourse with her wife, then he is also liable for a punishment. Fourthly, there is a section 498A of IPC, which covers all kinds of cruelty which can be imposed on a wife, or mental, physical, and sexual cruelty which a husband inflicts on a wife. Then also the husband ends up in a jail for 3 years of imprisonment. Women have also a privilege in women from Domestic Violence Act 2005, as it also protects the woman from physical, emotional, sexual cruelty. And the wife can file a case in the court of law if any of these charges can be proven against the husband. Then he will also be punished in court of law. So I think the wife has many privileges than a husband. She have some more protection, like she can also get speedy remedies in civil and criminal laws, and she can also ask for alimony while having the divorce. So I think if a wife is not happy in a marriage, then she can go for judicial separation rather than for marital rape. So enough of remedies are available for a wife to get separated from her husband, rather than introducing a new law and creating more burden on the courts. As and the validity of the cases is also a question which courts might face, because there will be no evidence for proving the validity if there is actual a marital rape or not, because there will be only wife's evidence which can support her statements, and no witnesses or anything else which can prove the rape. So in evidence also, the statement of wife will only matter, and husband's statement won't be of much relevance. So I think there will be a big problem in regard to evidence also. And as per the statistics, there are one lakh 86,000 cases which were false. And as per the statistics, 86,000 husbands had committed suicide in 2016, and the rate in women's was only half of which of the husbands. Even in the case even in the case of Anish Kumar versus State of Bihar, the court has highlighted that how the Section 498A was misused by a vice and how false cases were filed in the court. And lastly, I would like to speak that marriage is of scanty nature in India, and imposing criminalization on marital rape would destroy the very prime purpose of a marriage, and would also uh, prove to be damaging rather than helpful for the society. Thank you.
So I'd like to ask a question to Sonali, if you may allow me.
Yes.
So I'll ask question on 3 points. The first point that you raised was automatic consent from marriage. If a person is married, there is an automatic consent. So I'd like to ask you that there are laws when a woman is living separately from her husband, then her husband needs to take consent of a woman for sexual intercourse. Then where does this concept of yours come in of automatic consent at the time of marriage?
Because the marriage automatically gives the consent of having sexual intercourse with the partner, otherwise the marriage won't have only taken place.
Then why the legislators in India are automatically not taking this into consideration and saying that when wife is living separately, then the husband needs to take consent?
But it has not been criminalized, I think, because they believe that the concept of the marriage is only the consumption of the marriage only. So I think.
So I would like to add some of the things, sir. So when Sonali said that the automatically wife has given the consent during the wedlock, the consent was taken. To. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The marriage it has figured out the consent, but sir, it has never. We can never practically say that the consent was given for every consent was consent was given for every intercourse, sir. Whenever husband asks, it has never been said. It has never been practically said, sir. So like whenever husband is asked, like whenever husband asks to get involved, it has permanently never given the consent. And sir, next the second point is that she raised 376 section which talks about unnatural offenses. So according to me, as per my knowledge, so I don't think marital rape has been framed in this section in any ways. It just talk about unnatural offenses like between some homosexual which is now illegal, sir. It talks about those kind of offenses.
Oh.
Sir, I'm in the favor of this proposition that marital rape should be criminalized. But I'd like to ask one question to Aspharia also. That is, even if we introduce a law that makes marital rape illegal in India, then what will you do to the unique features that are present in India only, that is illiteracy, lack of financial empowerment of majority of women, mindset of the society, vast diversity, and poverty?
Exactly. So I would like to say that there are too little education and too many customs. There are too little education and too many customs. So education has always been above customs in India, sir. So when these kind of questions come, so we considered about the sacredness of marriage. So how pure a marriage is. How can there be such kind of things like people can't even imagine कि we have such things. Lack of education, right? Lack of education. We can have some seminars on these topics, like there can be these issues we can educate at our own best level, we can educate the masses about such topics. We can have a solution for this. The illiteracy, we can have a solution for this. We can teach them as best as like at our capacity. We can have seminars, we can have advertisement which is popular in household, runs at every.
Good evening, everyone. Today, the topic of our debate is should marital rape be criminalized? And I will be speaking for the motion. The situation of marital rape, especially in the legal domain in our country, is a perfect example of patriarchy in a democracy, where women who are considered to be equal citizens are not given the right over their very own body. And as per latest statistics, even during the lockdown we are facing right now, there have been seen a surge of about 35% cases where a woman has to go through physical, sexual, or emotional violence, especially with married women. It is reflected in our laws, especially in sections like Section 375, where rape has been defined. It is defining rape where a man has a sexual intercourse with a woman against or without her consent. If she is a minor, the legal age of valid consent is 18. But under Section 375, subsection 2, it exempts unwilling sexual intercourse with a wife over 15 years of age from this definition of rape, thus making it legal for men to rape women, uh, uh, especially in the form when they are their wives, who happen to be their wives, aged 15 and above, thus allowing marital rape legally. Here, if we focus on the age, it will be obviously uh, underage marriage and everything. But if we focus on the fact that unwilling sexual intercourse with a wife, here the very main in the Indian Penal Code, it has been written down where it is somewhere legally allowing married women to be raped, where and their consent has not been given enough power. This loophole has also been recently taken up in a case of RIT Foundation versus Union of India, where the Delhi High Court declared that married partners can say no to physical relationships. As India has already been a patriarchal society, we shall also consider the fact that these laws which we are following now has been made in that era, and therefore with the change in time and with the change in the need of the hour, we should also change our laws. Lord Keith in the England Wales of 1991 has defined modern marriage as partnership of equals, and the wife is no longer considered the subservient chattel of the husband. He defines that the wife is should not and shall not be considered any longer as the simple possession of the husband, and she shall, especially in the 21st century, have equal rights over her body, over her own self, and conduct herself however in whichever manner she wants. Such a judgment has also been passed by Gujarat government. It is called the Nimesh Bhai Bharat Bhai Desai versus State of Gujarat. It is a 2018 case where the government held that it has long been time to jettison the notion of implied consent in marriage. The law must uphold the bodily autonomy of all women, irrespective of their marital status. Now, although now we see that after a long struggle, the court has started realizing that marital rape is a thing, but there are a lot of other consequences which comes after marital rape also. Marital rape now is a type of intimate partner violence. About 52% women in India suffer from intimate partner violence. Intimate partner violence is of four types. It can be physical, verbal, emotional, and sexual abuse. And marital rape is one of the form of intimate partner violence. Marital rape, intimate now because of such long mental and physical abuse of a person, they are naturally to go through post-traumatic disorders. One of them very known, not very known in India, disorder is battered woman syndrome. It is a psychological condition and describes a pattern of behavior where the victim becomes so depressed, defeated, and passive that she believes she is incapable of leaving her abuser. Now, about 50% of the patients of this syndrome, that is the battered woman syndrome, 50% of these women have been seen to be also victims of marital rape. Even in there was a very famous case in UK called R versus Ahluwalia, where a woman killed her husband out of uh, uh, 10 years of domestic violence, deprivation, marital rape, and the judge acquitted her on the ground that she was suffering from battered syndrome, and she had been always been treated as a possession by her husband, over the long time, and it was something that built up inside her, and due to which she had to do the act. Therefore, I would like to say that marital rape is also not a very new concept in India, but although now, even there was a latest judgment of Ruchita Srivastava and another versus Chandigarh Admiralty, where bodily integrity has been taken under Article 25, has been declared as a part of Article 25. Therefore, we do now recognize the fact that there is marital rape, but there is still a long way to go and to understand the consequences a person has to face after it. And criminalizing marital rape is the only option which will help to stop all the other domains and the gruesome activity. Thank you.